Welcome and thank you for clicking on this video. Join me as I go on my morning walk. If you're new, thank you for checking out this video. Thank you for following me if you've been watching any of my videos. So the motivation for starting my channel was to, again, bridge the divide between continental Africans and the African American diaspora. And back in January, I joined a YouTube live. The topic of discussion was, should African Americans automatically get citizenship in African countries? This discussion got really interesting when a gentleman by the name of Kweku joined the live stream. So I want you to listen to what he has to say. Comment below what your thoughts are on what he has to say, whether you agree or disagree, and I'll meet you on the other end.
Hi, Kweku. How are you?
I am good. You remember me?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I've been looking out for your videos, but I haven't seen you up in a while. And I just saw you came online. I'm like, I'm just gonna go hear what he has to say. I don't know what you're talking about, but I always have something to share. So,
okay. So
what are you talking about?
I mean, we've spoken about a whole range of topics. I spoke about traveling with my kids for the first time, and then a lot of different people have been speaking about African Americans gaining citizenship and how difficult it is to gain citizenship in certain countries in Africa. And then some people are saying, so there was two people that said that they didn't think that there was the right infrastructure there to basically open the citizenship for African Americans, whereas I feel like it should be like a birthright.
I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of like biased because I've lived with these people and I really disagree. I mean, you might be from here and DNA test and everything say that you're from here, but are you really from here?
From where? Whereabouts are you? Where are you calling from?
So yeah, I'm calling from Ghana. I just got to Accra from Kumasi. I heard I can't price one telling you to come to Kumasi and stuff like that. Yeah, I've been in Ghana for 2 weeks now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I kind of like really disagree because say 7-8 years ago, being from Africa was a diss. Like, you're African, you kind of like slow, you're supposed to be stupid. That's how they saw us. So now, if being African,
who are you saying they? Can you be quite specific?
African Americans, blacks.
Right.
Yeah, in America. I don't know about London. I don't know about any other country, but that's how they saw us. I mean, people move from their country like across oceans and stuff like that. It would take time for them to get used to the system. But if you see that person in the landing stage and think they're stupid, when being from Africa is a diss, you can't just turn around and come and be like, hey, my DNA says I'm from Ghana, so give me Ghanaian citizenship. No, there has to be a way. If you want to gain citizenship, you have to go there, live there, and then earn it.
So do you agree or disagree with Kweku? Comment down below and let me know. Do you think that historical diasporans need to earn their citizenship, or should they automatically gain it by birthright just because their DNA says they're from Africa?
We can just give you a birthright because now being from Africa after what's the movie again?
Coming to America.
After Black Panther.
Oh,
being from Africa became like what? Cool. Like a hype or something. Yeah, people were just kind of like, hey, I'm from here, I'm from here, I'm from here. No, you can't just in a birthright.
But I guess
I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of like biased because I've lived with them and they really make me mad. So you like anything else, you have to earn it. We can't just go to America and be like, I want to be an American citizen and be a citizen. You have to go there, live there.
But I do think it is very different because I think that, like if I went to America, I have no tie to America at all. So for me to then, I want to be a citizen, like, for what? Like, not for what, but obviously I would have to go through a process. But it's a different situation for African Americans. Like, they have descendants from Africa. So it's not like they're just arriving at somewhere that they have no connection to. And then now they have to, as you say, like gain it in some way. Like, they actually have descendants, just like my dad's from Ghana. Yeah, it's my exact dad, so I know that. But, not that far back, they also have people from these countries.
I do understand when it comes like that. Like, I have a mixed baby. If he wanted to be Ghanaian, he's Ghanaian. Yeah. But like from African Americans that have lived there for like generations and generations, like since slavery. You can't just do a DNA test and be like, hey, I'm from Ghana, I'm from Nigeria. So just move to Nigeria and then be a Nigerian citizen in 2 days, or be a Ghanaian citizen in 2 days. I believe that if you think you're from there, your DNA test say you're from there, and you want a citizenship, move there.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I do think you probably, if you're going to be getting citizenship, or maybe you don't want to live there, maybe you just want to travel there freely. But anyway, what I want to get to is, I feel like you're saying this from your experience of potentially having a bad experience in America. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's a general experience. I mean, I see how they treat Africans like all the time. Like most of them, like there are a few good people in them, but most of the time, I would say white people treat Africans better than blacks. Like African Americans treat Africans.
It would be good to get an African American into this exact conversation, because I feel
I wish there was somebody in here. I mean, there are some that are like very open to learning about Africans. Something. I mean, some of them even think we still live in trees. That's what they actually believe. So they see.
Is that their fault? Like, I'm honestly at the point, I'm on the sort of view of what they show in the West or the global North. They don't show what I'm showing on my channel, for example. So how can we expect people to see something that isn't being shown? Okay, let me add Dan Fee Parker and hope that he's hi. Hello,
Kwaku. I'm actually. How's it going? I think I'm in probably like 95% agreement with Kwaku, because I think I'm 95% in agreement with you.
Yeah.
So Dancy, where are you? Whereabouts are you at the moment? And
I'm in Toronto, but I grew up in the States.
Okay, and what's your lineage as we're speaking about this exact situation?
I was actually born in Ghana. I came here when I was 8, and then I moved to the States after, I don't know, I think I was like 10 when I moved to the States. Been there, and then came back here to Canada and married a Canadian. So now I'm living in Toronto. And I was just recently in Ghana last year around this time, actually. But what Kwaku is saying, there's a lot of validity to it, because the point he's making is that growing up in the States, this isn't, again, I'm not blaming African Americans per se for their attitude, but there's a persona about Africans in America, right? And I'm going to say this like across like all Americans. Like, I think there's a crazy stat about the amount of Americans that have passports, which means that it's like a small like percentage. That means they don't travel at all. And one thing I will say, that Americans that have traveled are different. They have a different mentality. I'll give you that. Like they've seen the world. They've encountered different cultures, so they have a different kind of mentality towards things, and their ignorance is not as like jarring, right? But if you talk to Americans who haven't traveled, and Vanessa, when I mean like they haven't traveled, like they could probably be in the same city and not even be able to go to the next town their whole lives, right? So it breeds some kind of ignorance, right? So when they think of Africa, they think of like kids on TV with like listening with the Sarah McLachlan music in the background, with flies on their face, like with a big bellies. That's what they think. Like they don't really think that there's educated, progressive potential in the country, right? So when they think about coming here, like here's the modern phenomenon of people wanting to come to Africa is new. It's very new.
Yeah, no, I know that. I've been going since I was 2 or 3 years old, and everyone was like, "Why? What are you going to do there?" And thought that I don't know what they thought I was doing. Until now, that's when I realized, like, I have literally been going there since I was a baby, and only now are people. Well, the past few years, when I really, started speaking about my channel, are people interested. Only now are people like, wow, that's so cool. It wasn't cool. Like, I know that people didn't think it was cool back then. And nobody was going.
I think one of the things that you probably don't understand how well your channel and you and like Wado, what's his name? How do you say it? Wode Maya. I think one of the things that you guys don't understand what you're doing is that you're giving light you're shedding ignorance by your videos, because a lot of people don't understand that there are beautiful aspects of Ghana or even African countries. There are beautiful aspects of the culture, and there is potential if you want to go there and be a part of the culture, right? It's all there. So that's kind of like what you create with your videos, and that's why I think I'll give you credit for that, and I'll value that. But what Kwaku is saying, like, he's not being like, I understand what he's saying. That's why I say I 95% agree with him. But the 5% where I'm like different is that there are a lot of African Americans who have a real affinity towards Africa right now, a genuine one, right? Mm-hmm. And part of that is also because like the new awareness of like, you know, just like slavery and how it's just impacted everything in the West, and them being stripped of their identity and all that stuff. So there's a huge like desire to know their history and where they're from, right? And there's some that are really interested, even at work. I have people who ask me about Ghana, and one man who wants to retire there, and he's trying to get me to connect him with people there, right? Because he wants to live there, you know, and be there forever, right? So there is a group of people that do really genuinely care about being part of the culture, assimilating and taking on the natural cultures of the country. As far as like citizenship goes, like what Maximilian was saying was like, he has $1 million and like they're asking him to, you know, pay for it. Listen, if you have money, if you're rich in any part of the world and you go to another country, citizenship comes easely. It's just mm-hmm. factual, right? Now I agree with you in one of your points that said that like with the ancestry and like the transatlantic slave trade, Africans should be more sympathetic to welcoming African Americans back. And I think like the great majority of Africans probably have that sympathy, but I think it's easier said than done, because even me being Ghanaian, I can speak the language. Going back to Ghana, I understood, but there's a different mentality there. There's just a different mentality, right? It's not necessarily bad. It's not necessarily backwards. And I had to face my own ignorance, like my own snobbery, Western snobbery, right? Because I have a friend there who's building a hotel. He left the States and he's building a hotel in Somania. And when I went out with him and another friend, and I was just like, really on why the infrastructure is so bad, the roads, the potholes, the sewage, all this stuff. And he was like, you know, when I first came to Ghana, I had the same ideas as you. You know, I was really like fired up about these things. But he said, once I've been here, you start to see that there are other things more important than those things. Not to say that those things aren't important, but there are more pressing matters, right? And when he said that, I didn't understand it. But when I left Ghana and I had a really bad encounter there, but I started to see that, okay, yeah, it makes sense. Like I was going there with my own snobbery. Like the roads in Toronto is terrible. And this is a Western world. Mm. Do you know what I mean? Like there's one road here that's like been under construction for almost like 6-7 years and they're still not done. And this is supposed to be like the Western world, right? Mm-hmm. Mind you, they're putting like a subway line on it, but still, it's still been taking years to do. So I think most Africans, and that's one thing I like about the current president of Ghana is his appeal to the diaspora to come back. My only thing is like, how do we get the talent that we have abroad to come back and think that they can stay? Do you know what I mean? Like that they don't have to live between two worlds, because that's what most people that are like well off or, you know, adequate or gifted in some way, they feel like if they go to Africa and establish something, it's almost like they want to live within two worlds. Like I'll go to Africa for 6 months and then I'll come back here. Right. And how do we get like that mentality where like, okay, I don't want citizenship just because I want to be able to go back and forth, but I want citizenship to invest in the country, to stay there and to perpetuate a mentality like we don't leave our country. Like we go and visit other countries, but like we're investing in the future of this country. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think, I mean, I know people like my sister being one, she has gone and she's lived and doesn't think she's ever coming back. But I also know a lot of people who are like, I'm going to spend 6 months there and 6 months, you know, back here so that I can have like the home comforts. And to your point of the different mentality, the interesting thing I think about the mentality is when you realize, what is actually important. And I think what people really love about Ghana is like the community feel. Mm-hmm, and like that isn't in the mentality. How are you?
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Loving that Ghana flag in the background.
Yeah, you like that?
Woo! Yeah.
Oh, Ghana. Hey, it's nice to meet you virtually. I've been watching your channel for like over a year and a half now, and your first video that I saw was the one with you and where you interviewed your sister, where she was the thumbnail. I think she was sitting on a grass or something like that. So yeah, I've been catching almost all your videos practically since then. So you're doing an amazing job. So kudos to you. You're definitely opening a lot of interesting conversations, and yeah, you're doing awesome. So. Yeah, I just want to jump in on this conversation because this conversation is really layered. As a matter of fact, I was actually watching, I started watching when Kwaku was talking. I was actually in the shower. That's how much of a YouTube addict I am. So
that's like me. I watch YouTube in the shower sometimes, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it's.
I don't watch TV that much, so I got to save time. I got to get it in whenever I can. So that's my TV. So basically, what I want to say is that, I disagree with Kwaku, but not just for the fact that I think he's wrong. He's neither right or wrong. It's just his opinion, and every man is completely entitled to their own opinion. But what I would say is that I'm a Ghanaian. I was born in Ghana, and I moved to the United States at the age of 12. To live with my father, who's been living in America for like 40 years or whatever. Whenever I ask him, he changes the amount of years that he's been living here, so I could never really tell. But he's been here a pretty long time, and he's married to an African American woman who had lived in Ghana on 2 different occasions in the 70s, and a very strong Black woman. So that's the type of household that I moved into. And just through the process of assimilation, I learned a lot about Black people and their struggle in this country. I learned, through the, slavery, the transatlantic slave trade, Jim Crow, civil rights movement. And the funny thing about it is when I lived in Ghana as a child, I didn't know anything about the transatlantic slave trade. I never knew that something like that happened. As a matter of fact, where I was born in the Western region, I'm sure you're probably familiar with Second D Takoradi.
Mm-hmm.
Second D is where I was born, and then I moved to Accra to live with my aunt at the age of 4. So we used to go back and forth from Accra to Second D, and we would pass by the slave castles, Elmina and Cape Coast Castle, and I never knew what happened over there. I never knew until I came to America that something like that happened, that atrocity happened. And I say that to make a point that when I moved to America in the 90s, at least at that time, most Black Americans were not really educated about Africa. All they knew about Africa is what they saw on TV, the little Ethiopian child with flies around, their body, white people going there to save Africans, Africa being the dark continent, and what National Geographic portrayed in their magazines and on TV. That's all people knew about Africa. So I say that to make a point is that on both sides, we're both miseducated about each other. And that's what's actually separating us is the miseducation. And actually there's a gentleman by the name of Carter G. Woodson that wrote this book called The Miseducation of the Negro. If anybody that's watching this hasn't picked up that book, you should read it, because that book tells a lot about how Black people and the Black people all over the world, as a matter of fact, have been seriously miseducated. And that's on purpose, because our colonizers and our enslavers wanted to separate us. They wanted to separate us because they know how powerful we are if we're together. And that's what's holding us apart is the separation and the misunderstanding that we've been through for centuries and centuries. Is really that's what's keeping us apart. And and as a matter of fact, I started a YouTube channel months ago because that's something that I wanted to concentrate on. Is the whole purpose and the whole motivation for that channel is to build a bridge between continental Africans and diasporans, and especially African Americans, because that's my experience, and that's I live among Black people in this country. So it's not that Black people here in America hate Africans. It's just that we don't really understand each other. We're family. We're family, and even people in your country where you live in Scotland, you know, because I know Ghanaians have been going there for years. I saw the interview that you did with your dad, and that was a really great interview, because I could really empathize with that, connect with him, because my father is kind of like your father. It was almost like looking at the same people when you were interviewing him.
So many people said that. So many people were like, that is just like my dad.
Yeah, it was almost like talking to my father, because they're, you know, most Ghanaian men are raised the same way. So they have like similar mindsets. So so it's crazy. It's just that this is my experience, and you know, I feel that we need to come together, and YouTube is probably the best thing that happened to African American or African diaspora and continental African relations, because now you can actually see we're controlling the narrative. You know, you, Wood and Maya, and a whole bunch of other people, y'all doing a great, excellent job. You know, we're controlling the narrative. Like, look, this is what our land looks like. This is what's happening on the soil. Like, you have to come here and see for yourself. Don't rely on what we've been taught for decades and decades about Africa. And you know, we live in huts and we live in trees, and there are lions and monkeys. Yes, those parts are in Ghana or in Africa, but we also have a civilized society. We also have skyscrapers. We also have, you know, a functioning society. You know, some of our roads might be bad, but we're a developing country. You know, we're not America. Yeah, you don't go to Ghana to have the same experience as America. You know, we're a developing country. We're coming up. We have a lot of potential. We got a long way to go. So yeah, and in regard to the Ghanaian citizenship, or just going to another country and actually acquiring the citizenship, what I would say, my opinion on that is, do I believe African diasporans, descendants of African diasporans, need to have a citizenship? They deserve it, I believe. Yeah, they deserve to, because if you can trace your lineage to another country, Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, wherever, yeah, you deserve to get a citizenship, but you have to go through the process just like anywhere else. You know, you can't just show up at at a government office in Ghana and say, I'm here, give me citizenship. No, it doesn't work like that. So yeah, that's just my piece on the whole thing. You know, Kweku is not wrong. He's not wrong, or he's not right. It's just his opinion. But I believe all this is just based on ignorance. But yeah, anyway, you guys, if you want to check out my YouTube channel, that's the name, King Anan Ghana. You could just type it on YouTube and, you know, just check out some of my content. But
great. Yeah, I'll definitely be subscribing. And yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and everything you said, because I'm so happy that, you know, you've had that opinion, because we were getting some, you know, slight iffy opinions on the whole thing. So yeah, it's good to, thanks. And also because you've had such an experience with your stepmom being African American, you know, you obviously have a good understanding of it.
Right. Yeah. Everyone has a unique experience. So yeah. So that's it. But yeah, thank you. You're doing a great job, and keep on doing what you're doing. Kudos.
Thanks so much. See you later. Bye.
So that was it. That was my 2 cents. Let me know what you thought about what I said in the comment section below. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you click on that notification bell, so anytime I upload a new video, you can come check it out. Once again, this is your man, Nan, signing out, and I'll check you on the next video.